Hi, my name is Wade Galt, and I've worked with entrepreneurs for over 20 years, helping them grow their businesses. And there's a exercise that we do usually on an annual basis to get them to focus on what's most important. It's evolved a little bit over the years, and it centers around helping you create a lot of impact for the people you serve, which leads to more income for you, the people you work with, your loved ones. And in this, we have a process that starts a little bit with some brainstorming, opening up some possibilities, thinking about some things that maybe you want to shift. And then eventually we drill it down to a very specific plan for you to implement. And then also have some additional tools to help you make that action plan take place. In this process, I'm going to show you what I've done and how it can work for you. After you've done it, you can take the pieces you like, work the parts you like, make it into your own if you like. Overall, what it's going to do is help you get clarity about what it is that's most important to you and also what's most important to the people you serve so that you can create a realistic plan, a strong hypothesis that still might not work for 100% certain, but something that you can go forward with, knowing that there's a really good chance that you're going to create more impact, which will then lead to more income. And this becomes something you can build upon each year. I'm going to take you through some questions that are going to pull from you the most important answers to help you create that best year, that most impactful and abundant year that you've ever had. What we have here is a worksheet that will allow you to type in your answers. And so you can either print it out and write in it, or if you use the worksheet, you can click on it and it'll take you to different pieces of it. I'm going to talk you through the first exercise. It's called Your Best Year Ever. And this is an exercise that's a future-based exercise looking back. So what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that it is a year from today and you're looking back at the last 12 months, which in reality are the next 12 months. But again, we're going forward in the future 12 months to say, what is it that happened over those 12 months that made your year so awesome, so abundant, so impactful, the best year ever? And the scenario I like to imagine is one that allows you to imagine that you're talking to a friend of yours, one of your peers, and they're asking you what it is that you did to make this year so special. Now, depending on your style, what you can do if you like is you can do this as a guided exercise and type in the answers later. That's how I'm going to lead you through this. Of course, you could simply just read these and type your own answers. You don't need me to read them to you. But what I found is a lot of the times, if you can get quiet, which I'm going to take you through an exercise to help you do that, and just let answers sort of bubble up or surface for you, whether it's from your subconscious, whether you believe there's a God or divine force in the universe that inspires you, or if you look to people from the past or people from the present for inspiration, whatever it is that works for you, I'm going to talk you through an exercise to allow these answers to come to you. And then you can type in your answers. And when you type them in, what you're going to see or write them in, you're going to see that it's going to basically lead to an equation to say, if you did all these things, here's how that would impact your income financially. And here's how much time it would either save you or cost you. And then when we're done with this, we're going to eventually take out the most impactful and powerful pieces. So I want you to be okay with this being a brainstorming exercise. It's an opening up and expanding type exercise. We're not going to necessarily implement everything that comes to mind. Right now, imagine the concept as if you're an artist or a writer and you're just writing. We will edit later. Right now, I don't want you editing. I want you just being open to receiving guidance, to receiving wisdom, to just hearing things that come to you, whether it's subconsciously or just ideas that pop up for you. And again, if you want to skip the exercise part, you can just pause this and go through the exercise and write or type your answers. But I'm going to talk you through this in a guided visualization type exercise. So what I invite you to do now is close your eyes, and we're going to start out by taking a few deep breaths in and out. So I invite you to take a deep breath in to a count of 5, and then release that. Let go of all the ideas that are going around in your brain. Taking another deep breath to a count of 5. And release that. Allow yourself to relax. Take in one more deep breath to a count of 5. And then release that. And hopefully by now you're comfortable. You're just letting things come to you. Don't worry about what you need to be doing after this. Don't worry about any things that are popping in your mind other than what we're focusing on here. So I want you to imagine it's 12 months from now and you have had your most impactful and abundant year ever as a professional in the work that you do. And one of your friends is talking with you and they want to know, hey man, what happened? How did that go? How did you make all these things happen? And they have some questions for you. And these questions are hopefully going to help them get a sense of how they can replicate, how they can duplicate what you've done. The first question is, what did you achieve this year in these past 12 months that made this year so much better than all of your previous years? Were there accomplishments you'd been working for a long period of time that finally happened? Did you maybe start some new projects? Did you finally break through on something that was almost about to happen? And for each of these projects, just think about, how did that impact your income? Did it maybe free up some time for you? Or did it require a significant time investment for you? And during this year, you had to make some choices. What opportunities or products or services did you focus on? And which ones did you drop, ignore, or put on the back burner for the following year? And just notice how that impacted your income and how much time it freed up for you or cost you. What distractions and annoyances did you reduce, delegate, or eliminate altogether? And how did that impact your income and the hours that you work? What new or forgotten sales processes did you implement that were critical to your success? Were you focused more on big picture marketing? Were you doing a lot more one-on-one marketing? And how did that impact your income and your time investments? What staffing changes did you make or outsourcing changes? How did your team change? Who were you finally able to attract? And which people did you fire or stop working with? And how did that impact your income and your time investments? During this big year, what professional relationships did you develop that led to your quantum leap? And which ones did you drop? And how did that impact your income and your time investments? How did you reallocate your marketing investments of time and money so that you're able to impact more people and make more money? And how did those changes impact your income and your time investments? What systems did you implement, upgrade, or simplify to guarantee your success? What new skills did you learn? How did that impact your income? And how many hours did that cost you or free up for you? How did your definition of your ideal client change? And how did you connect better with them? And how did that impact your income and your time investments? How has your lifestyle changed now that your business is running the way you want? Are you working different hours? Are you enjoying more time for vacation? Are you more able to start and stop work at the times you want each day? And how is that impacting your income and your time investments? And after you've shared this with your friend, they ask you to just sum up in a sentence. What is it? What's the big shift you made? What's the big difference why your year has been so much better? What did you change? What did you decide to focus on? Maybe what did you decide not to tolerate? What's been that shift? And when you're ready, open your eyes. And what you're going to see is in the tool, as you enter your information, the information is going to total below. So if I say I focused on my best clients, I'll just use that as a simple concept here. And I'll say that impacted my income by $50,000, let's say. As I go all the way down to the bottom here, that's going to total to $50,000. And so if I said in doing that, it actually cost me another 100 hours. So if I save time, I'd say it's plus 100, but it cost me 100 hours. So again, I'd go down to the bottom and that would add up for me. If I said I stopped working with tire kickers, if you're familiar with that phrase, people who kind of kick the tires like on a car just to test things out, but they're not really serious investing. And we might say that really didn't affect my income, but it freed up 200 hours for me, let's say. And so again, it would total for this subsection, and at the bottom, it would total for me. So what I'm looking to do is, again, get this overall picture. And if I were to print this out, this would be a 2-page document. You don't have to print it out. You can just use the digital version if you want. But I want to get a sense of, if I did all these things, what would it look like? And then what we're about to do is go into an exercise where we eventually pick the main ones that we want and decide which are the absolute best ones to move forward with, knowing that we might not get to all of them. We might aim to, but if we especially see the time investments and the money investments, and if we're pretty close to those, usually it'll turn out that we can't get to everything, or it might require a lot of changes to make things happen. But if we can narrow down to our absolute best opportunities, there's going to be a good chance we have that most impactful and most abundant year ever. Even though the primary focus of this is to help you look at what would change your work world, of course, we want to make sure your personal life is factored in. So if we go to our super goals, we're going to be able to just set some really basic concepts and some ideas of what we'd like to see happen in the next 12 months. So for example, I might decide that for happiness and fun, that I simply want to enjoy my weekends. And a lot of the times we talk about very specific visions or goals. The vision I'm going to suggest is you put here. So enjoy my weekends. Measurable goal. What's that look like? No work on Saturday or Sunday. So there's a big picture idea, and then there's a specific of what that looks like. So life purpose. I want to start do my life work more often. And again, so that's more of a qualitative description there. And I might say, I'm going to volunteer 1 time per month. Maybe my life work isn't being done at work. Maybe it is. All depends. And then there's things like cleanups. Maybe you want to clean up your garage or your basement. And again, what would your goal be for that? As you go down further, you might have goals for your personal income, your finance. So maybe your personal income goal is to save Then you might have some goals for personal income, and your personal income goal might be to earn a certain amount of money. And that might be the goal. So sometimes it might be that to where the vision and the income is the same thing, or it might be earn the income doing work I enjoy. So I might be a little more qualitative here. Personal finance, I might say I want to get out of debt, and I might say that I'm going to pay off credit cards or whatever it might be. Free time vacation, I want to take 30 vacation days. And again, sometimes it might be that simple where the goal is the vision, pretty straightforward. And you don't have to have these, but if you have a main relationship, a romantic relationship, maybe you have a qualitative goal for that. I want to enjoy the relationship more, and then I'm going to spend more time doing certain things. Goals for family and friends, maybe I want to hang out with them more. And then if you are working on personal growth, you might decide you have some goals that relate to your body, health goals, your mind, developing your mind, your spirit, whether that's spiritual practice, religious practice, whatever is important to you. The main idea here is just to make sure we're still focusing on the personal side of our life and not just focusing on work life. And so as we've now done our second part with each of these, as we complete them, there's a thing here on the workbook where we can indicate that either we are done with them, or maybe I'm partially done with them, in which case I'd leave it blank. If I decided I didn't want to do it, I could skip it. If I needed help with it, I could say I want help. But each step, it would allow me to indicate that, yes, I've made progress, and eventually I'm going to get back to all of them being done, and that will prepare me for the upcoming year ahead. So the Best Year Ever Blueprint was a brainstorming exercise to help you uncover what are all the different things you could be doing to make things improve for your business. In the Vision Expander, we're going to drill down and get a little more specific about a very simple theme. We're going to add some things to your business and pick a few of those. But to make room for those, we also want to drop some things. I'm going to take you through an example here to show you what this might look like. So this person here says they'd like to add a personal assistant, and that would cost them $10,000 per year. And after training them and all things included, they would free up 400 hours. So it's a negative income gain, negative 10,000, but the hours gained are 400. This person is going to create a consistent referral system, and they believe that if they do this, it will lead to $10,000 more sales, and it's going to take them 25 hours. That's a minus 25. That's why it's shown in brackets here. 25 hours for them to get it up and going. They're going to improve their onboarding system for new team members that they're training. That's going to save them or make them 30,000 more, and that's going to take 50 hours to happen. They're going to create performance milestones for their team members. That should improve things by about 15,000 and take 25 hours to make that happen. And they have a new sales process idea. They believe that'll improve sales 25,000 and take 50 hours to implement. So those are the things they're looking to add. Now on the right-hand side, we're going to look at what do they want to drop. They have a team member with a toxic attitude who affects productivity and mood, and they believe that just by getting rid of that person, even if they replace them, the person that would replace them would be worth 15,000 more. So right now this person's costing them that 15,000. Right now there's some investing in internet leads that's costing them money and time, and they don't believe that that's really the best thing that's happening. And there's some networking going on that they figured, you know what, if they weren't doing that, it really wouldn't cost them anything. So it's really just costing them time. Now, of all these possibilities, we have some totals of what would happen if we did all of them, but we're not looking to do all of them necessarily. We're looking to first prioritize what are 3 from each category that we could do if we could only get 3 done. So first thing, this person says, I'm going to hire that personal assistant. I believe that's a key to all these different things happening. That's, in other words, freeing up that time for me. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start that new sales process to generate more income. And then I'm going to work on that referral system. And if I can get all those things right, I'm going to gain $25,000. And I'm also going to free up 325 hours. And then on the right-hand side, I'm going to let go of that team member with a toxic attitude. I'm going to let go of the unwise investing in the internet leads. And I'm going to let go of that unprofitable marketing and networking. And if I can do that, if all these things turn out to be accurate, that will net another $50,000 and 525 hours will be freed up. So this is not a guarantee, but this is your best hypothesis of the few things you would do to make a huge impact. And if you can get these results, chances are you're going to have a very productive year. Now, you might decide that any one of these things could take a month, it could take 3 months, whatever it might be. So there's going to be a place where we schedule this, but right now we just want to get clear about what those things are so we know what would make the biggest impact. And if you want, you can do this once a year. I sometimes do this about every 6 months to every 3 to 4 months, depending on how quickly I'm making progress. But what it does is it allows you to know that all those other things on your list that might be great ideas, we might get to them, but we're not getting to them now. And it gives your brain space to say, you know what? I'm just going to focus on these things. And if I can focus on these things, that's going to expand what's possible for me without me overwhelming myself. Now that I'm clear about what I want to have happen, I'm going to schedule it. In the results calendar, I'm going to get clear about when I want things to happen. And so I'll show you an example here, what it could look like. I'm going to decide that for each month, there's one main thing I want to achieve that's not a normal result. I'm still doing all the things I do to maintain my business, but each month I'm going to look to add one piece. In this first month, I'm going to look to add my personal assistant. As we mentioned, it's going to cost me, I believe, $10,000, and it's going to save me 400 hours. So I'm not going to invest those 400 hours. It's going to actually save them for me. It's not going to calculate an expected hourly income since we're looking at negative times here, but I have a start date of January 3rd. I'm going to finish it hopefully by the end of the month, at least getting that person up and going. And then at the end of the month, I'll indicate, well, I did invest or commit to investing 10,000. It's looking like it's going to save me 400 hours. Great. I'm on my way. Month two, I'm going to start implementing those new sales processes. I believe that'll make me $25,000 more and will take 50 hours to make that happen. If I do that, that's a net gain of $500 per hour. And again, I'm going to look to schedule a date. I'm looking to have this happen in February between the 1st and the 28th, at least the launch of it. Doesn't mean all the results will happen for the year, but in other words, me launching this new sales process. And as it turned out later, I come back in the year and indicate that I gained 50,000 in those 50 hours. And here's the results I got. And so I could do that for each month, but I don't have to do something every month. I might decide, for example, in June and July that I'm simply going to be off for the summer. And that's my goal. I don't have to have something every month. If you can get really clear about 3 to 5 very big things that happen in a year, that could be huge. 8 to 10 of them could be huge. It doesn't have to be that every month you're launching something. Some of those months may be months that you recuperate, that you do some planning, that you have time for family and friends and freedom and fun. So whatever works for you can go with that. But this is going to help you plan out on a month-by-month basis just one thing that you do that's going to make a huge impact on your year, the impact for your people that you serve, and the abundance that you're creating. For some people, the results calendar is plenty, while others prefer to map out a plan of what they're going to do. If we use our monthly game plan, we can set a plan in motion that indicates what we're going to do on one day of each week of the month to make something happen. Now, I like to always assume there's only 4 weeks in a month. I know sometimes there's one more depending on how the calendar rolls. What we want to do here is just keep it really simple. In this 1 month, if we have this one goal, we want to focus on it. So our first month's goal here in this example is to hire a personal assistant. And then we're going to create a list of actions that we believe will help us move towards and achieve this goal. So if I write a clear job description, it'll hopefully help me make a good hire. If I post a job on LinkedIn, maybe that'll get me some traffic and some applications. Same thing if I ask friends and contacts. If I use assessments to screen people and define the standards of what I'm looking for, that'll help me filter the applicants. And if I do video interviews, that'll hopefully speed up the process. So I can list all these different things that are part of my process. And then on one day of each part of the week, I'm going to list just one thing. So on Monday of this month, I'm going to focus on writing my clear job description. Then I'm going to post that job on LinkedIn. Then I'm going to ask friends and contacts. Then I'm going to use my assessments and define my standards. And then I'm going to start using my video interviews. Now, it doesn't mean it's exactly going to go in this order. And I'm not obsessed with the schedule. What I'm simply doing is I know if I map out, let's say 15 to 30 minutes per day to work on whatever is my latest project, then I know I can come in and say, okay, in 15 minutes, I'm going to do this part. Then I'm going to do this next part. And it's not that it's going to magically go exactly according to my plan, but at least I know where I'm supposed to be. And perhaps even more importantly, I know if I'm behind, because if I simply set a goal to hire the personal assistant, for some people, that's plenty, and they're going to take action and make that happen. For others, the micro goal setting is necessary and helpful to make sure they know what needs to be done and make sure that progress is happening. So if you do that in each month, you don't need to do it ahead of time. Just with each beginning of the month, when you're about to get started, either a few days before or the first day of the month, you map out your month of what you're going to be doing. And again, you could schedule, let's say, 30 minutes a day, either at the beginning of the day or the end of your day, that you know you can make this happen. Now, if you really want to make sure it happens, usually scheduling at the beginning of the day is more likely to be successful because things sometimes go off during the day. They don't always go according to plan. So being able to do this earlier in the day is going to make it very likely you're going to take action and extremely likely that you're going to start at least doing the action steps necessary to hopefully create the impact and the abundance you're seeking. If you want to go one step further, the weekly calendar can help you create a rhythm to help you make results happen. So a lot of people have some sort of framework that they work within. You might be working from 8 to 5 or whatever it might be. If you want to, you can plan out your week in different levels of increments. Now, for some people, 30-minute blocks is perfect. So I could always change this time. If let's say I started at 9 o'clock, I could type in a 9 o'clock there and hit tab, and it'll change the times for me. But so I could have this be where I type in all the different things I want to have happen in the times I'm going to be working. I could leave, let's say, Friday and Saturday blank if I'm not working on those days. So for some people, that's the best way to do it. And or you might find it's easier for you to type it into your Google Calendar or your calendar for your smartphone or whatever it might be. But what I also find is many people don't like 30-minute increments. It's too many blocks. It's too much planning. It's too much micro planning. Some people like 60-minute blocks where they're planning only one thing per hour. Some people prefer something more like 2-hour blocks. I happen to prefer more of what I just call the MLA, the morning, the lunch, and the afternoon. And in the morning, usually I'm going to be doing something that's initiating, something that requires my best energy, my highest levels of energy. Then I'm going to eat my lunch. And then the afternoon, I'm going to follow through. I'm going to implement. I'm going to do the things that I'm used to doing. So in my case, I'm a coach. I'm used to coaching people. I can coach people in the afternoon and still give them my best energy because I've done this for so long, and I'm not going to see a big drop off in my energy level. So long as I eat well and maintain my energy throughout the day, that's very possible for me. But when I'm, let's say, writing a book, writing is not easy for me. I can dictate and talk easily, but writing the book and editing it and really creating the form for it takes a lot of effort and energy for me. It takes a lot of mental energy. I'm usually going to do that in the beginning of the day. If I try to do that at the end of the day, I'll usually find that after I did the work, I didn't make a lot of progress, or I just looked at the page and it didn't work out, or I just kind of did a poor job. So getting clear about what's most impactful for you that requires your best energy and makes a big impact is usually what you want to do in the morning sessions. Again, whether you use this schedule or if you book hourly or every 2 hours or whatever it might be. And then knowing that in the afternoon, there will usually be things you need to follow up on, things you need to make happen. In a calendar, like a 60-minute calendar, I actually usually have maybe the last hour of my day to follow up on things. I do a lot of proactive scheduling of things. I usually keep that last hour where I'm not working with clients so I can wrap up my day. But throughout the rest of the day, I'm doing all sorts of things that allow me to create. So once you've completed all of these, you've completed your plan for your best year of impact and income. Now, something that's so critical to remember, like any other tool, this is just a tool. Please use this to help you move forward and make progress without getting obsessed with perfection. If a year from now I look back at this and I've made 2 or 3 big jumps that have helped my impact of the number of people I serve, the income, if it's helped my life get better, I'm not going to worry that I didn't get everything done. And I encourage you to take that same view of the world. Nothing's ever really going to be perfect for us. But if we can keep moving forward and making progress, that momentum will carry us forward. I've been an entrepreneur over 20 years. When I make my best progress is when I keep moving forward and I build upon my successes. And when I get stuck is when I'm really caught in my head and I'm just so critical of myself and I'm not happy with my progress. I'm lacking gratitude. I'm tough on myself unnecessarily, and I'm holding myself to unrealistic standards. Incidentally, that's also what I do when I treat the people around me who I love the most the worst. I hold them to standards that are unrealistic. I don't love them for where they're at. I don't accept where they're at. I don't recognize and express gratitude and feel gratitude for where they've made progress and how they're good to me. So I hope this serves you. If you have any questions at any point of this, please let me know. As always, I look forward to helping you impact more people with your work and make more income for you, the people you partner with, your loved ones, and for you to enjoy, and to do that in less time so you have the ability to fully enjoy your family, your friends, your free